Fame so me see beat and teach. So beat and teach.
Okay. Watch out, come to me and fucking your bike. Let me tell you. Why don't get a old call from jail? Tell me, kill you, no dog. Let me tell you. If you ever dial my girl number, kill fucking you cold, bike.
Order the world.
Let me think, order to the world, bike.
Welcome to It's always doing. Yo, listen. That's how bad man thing is in Bahamas. Those are two Bahamian men arguing about girl. You alright? Bad man thing. But right now, we're going to talk about, hold on, before we talk about this island here, we have an update. So, we did a video on Dominica, which there was a killing in Dominica on January 1st. The name of the victim was Derek Peters. So he was killed on New Year's Day, and we want to let you guys know the killer. They found the killer, and right now he's being held for the murder of Derek Peters. So congrats to Dominica. You guys did a good job. I tell you, the island is so small, so best thing he just give up himself. So the thing is that the guy they found was, his name is what? Haywood Augustine. He's 36 and he lived at the same address as Derek Peters. So he's the one who killed Derek Peters. So I tell you, Off Topic TV we'll make a follow up on what crimes we talk about. So good news about that. But anyways, right now we're going to talk about the Bahamas. Yes. So basically, Bahamas is located between Miami and Cuba. Currently, there are 397,000 people living in the Bahamas. The capital of the Bahamas is Nassau. So everybody knows Nassau, that's where the Atlantis is. Alright? But Bahamas is ranked number 12 on the top 25 countries with the highest murder rate. Yes. Okay, so we're going to talk about, two crimes that happened, two murders that happened in Bahamas, two separate incidents. So, it's very bad. But anyways, so with heads and faces covered to conceal their identities, two juveniles were escorted into the Garnet Liberty Justice Center on January 11th. Where they were arraigned in the magistrate court for the island's country's first two murders of the year. The teens, 15 and 16, appeared from Magistrate Regine Johnson Court Number 3 on murder charges. The duo was also charged with the possession of firearm and ammunition. Meanwhile, Magistrate Johnson expressed her disappointment with one of the accused juveniles who had appeared before her in the past. She pointed out during the proceeding that the guardian had promised to look after him and keep him on a 7 p.m. curfew, which was ordered previously. The guardian who attended the arraignment admitted that his charge had been obeying his curfew up until the night of the incident he's alleged to have committed. The juveniles who did not enter a plea in the magistrate court are expected to enter a plea on January 25th before the juvenile panel. They were remanded on the Bahamas Department of Correctional Services until that time. Their court appearance came as a result of the island's first murder of the year, which took place New Year's Day, and the second homicide on January 4th. In the first incident, police were called to Gladstone Terrace area, where they discovered the body of a male with gunshot wounds. EMS personnel were called to the scene and reported no life. So Yuleen Augustine, wife of the man believed to be the first victim, Joel Augustine, spoke to the Daily outside the courthouse yesterday at her loss. Augustine noted that the family is grieving, particularly her youngest son, who is taking the death of his father especially hard. We are taking this one day at a time, she explained. She described her late husband being a loving husband and a father and a hard-working man. He works hard for us, she said. The second murder occurred at a popular night spot downtown late Thursday, January 4th. Chief Superintendent of Police and Chief Officer in charge of the Central Division, Wendell Smith, spoke to the media at the scene of the fatal shooting. He revealed that sometime around 10:40 p.m., police received a call regarding a shooting at the West Mall shopping complex located at West Mall Drive. Officers responding to the scene. Preliminary information is that the male who was seated in the establishment was accosted and would have apparently got gunshots. Smith added that the victim ran outside the club after the assailants where he collapsed. EMS were called at the scene. Apparently there was no life. So the second victim is believed to be of Kevin Roberts. That's the second victim. So the first one was a 40-year-old. His name was Joel Augustine. So this man we checked. He had like 3 jobs. So he was an operator of a barbershop, an electrician, and a radio show host. So he had like 3 jobs. Hard-working man. Kevin Roberts was a shipyard worker. You know, so these guys were, you know, they weren't thugs or anything. These guys were everyday 9-to-5 men. This happened in Freeport in the Bahamas. I've been to Freeport before, visiting the hotel Grand Lacaille, and that's where I stayed. You know, it's a very nice hotel. I mean, the people are very nice down there. I rented a scooter, rode around the island. You know, I had no complaints about the island. I mean, everyone eat and drink all day and eat conch. That's what they, you know, their main dish is conch. So I eat that all day. But you know what? 2 juveniles, they said allegedly, but these guys were found. Further information, these guys were found in the possession of the firearms, 9mm Glock and the ammunition. So that's why they were. So Freeport people lock it down quick time. So these guys were caught in no time. So applause to Freeport people. Now listen. Inform and tell people if someone is doing anything wrong. Do not keep your mouth shut, because that's why crime keep on going around. Because if people didn't come together and tell that these guys committed a crime, maybe next week they would be committing more murders and robberies. That's what it is. So I think these teenagers, I mean, they are 15 and 16. Before I said that, the wife of the victim, the wife of Joel Augustine, she was not allowed inside the courthouse when they were doing the arraignment, which to me, that is so crazy. So I'm saying someone killed my spouse, but I cannot go inside a courthouse to see who killed them. That doesn't make no sense to me. But anyways, I believe they should receive like 40 years. That's what I think. But I'm going to ask Team Des, what do you think?
I think they should get life.
You think they should get life? They're teenagers, 15 and 16. I mean...
So what? They should get life because they took a life. They took 2 lives. Well, each of them took a life.
Right. So,
So
I mean,
what's the point? So
I think that's harsh. I think 40 years.
Yeah, but they're old enough to know better than to kill someone.
Okay.
So that's what I think.
Alright, so that's your point. Anyways, thanks for watching. This is Off Topic TV, your host Wayne. So click the like button, hit the subscription button on the right, and leave a comment below and share, like and share. Alright, have a good night.
See I'm some see beat and teach. So beat and teach. So beat and teach.